Welcome to Toffee TV. Everton have signed Jack Harrison on a year loan with a buy option. People are saying, others are saying they'll decide because there's a clause in the contract that can make it a buy option. So he's here for a year. Let's just leave it at that for now. I think it's a good signing for Everton. I like Jack Harrison. I think he's a hard-working player. He can play right and left side. Nice left foot on him, and I think he suits what Sean Dyche wants.
I agree.
Done?
Yeah. No, I do agree. I think they've been interested for a while, haven't they?
Yeah.
I mean, what I like about being interested for a while is they do what because we've said it, but the profile and the type of player that they want.
Yeah.
And then they're picking who they think the right guy is. And then when they find there's a clause there, which makes it easier to get out and so on and so forth, they do the deal. And they don't lose their bottle when people start thinking he's going somewhere else. And I don't know whether I'm doing it right or wrong, but I know he's basically left-sided, isn't he? But he can play on the right. Yeah. So let's just think of him as a Dwight McNeil on the right. Hard-working, will get up and down the line. And if him and Dwight between them can get 10 to 15 goals, then more power to your elbow. They could get half our goal total between them, right? And Dan Juma's going to get a few. DCL's coming back. So, you know, we're a centre forward away from a good window, but I think that's a good player.
Yeah, he's had a good age. His last, we'll have a look at his stats.
Coming into prime, isn't he? Basically,
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at his stats from last season. 36. There's his heat map, which is basically everywhere. 36 games played, 5 goals last season. His XG was 5.45, so just slightly under it.
Yeah.
Created 9 big chances and had 7 assists, so 12 goal involvements. That was actually his worst performing year in the Premier League.
I was going to say he's had 3 consecutive good years.
Yeah, he had
that
8.
Was the lesser of them.
8 goals.
You might understand if they get relegated. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that can be it, can he? He'd scored previously 8 goals in his previous.
But they're
2
comparable
seasons.
to Dwight McNeil's, aren't they?
Well, much better than Dwight if you take a 3-year.
Oh yeah, I'm just about
thing.
the last
last season, yeah, Dwight had what 7 and 5 or whatever.
But
it
he's
was
got
the
more
other
assists, I think. But they're good stats, aren't they, for the position?
But listen, where we are, we haven't got tons of money to spend. We're not a team blessed with 1 million goals in it. So therefore, getting a very, very experienced. I mean, I've known Jack Harrison and watched Jack Harrison since his New York City days.
Yes.
Me and Ped were, talking about him years ago when he was a youngster coming through New York City, and you were like, can he step up? He looked, because he was very good in MLS, and he come over and he's been at Middlesbrough and Leeds, and he's done, obviously City had him, he's done really well, and he's just got better and better each year, and he is a hard worker. People on this channel have been talking about him all summer, saying Everton will sign him.
Yeah.
When we've got there, because if anyone stood out as a Sean Dyche player, it's Jack Harrison. Up and down, hard working.
That's why I call him a Dwight McNeil on the other side.
Consistency, I think he's a little bit more explosive than Dwight.
Yeah.
With that, and he can play left back, but he can play left side, off the right, cutting in, use both of his feet. I mean, some of his goals for Leeds with his right foot bending shots around keepers, excellent. And if he can, you're right, John, if he can come in and weigh in with a similar numbers that he's posted for Leeds, 21 goals in 3 seasons for Leeds in the Premier League. If he could do that for Everton over the next 3 seasons, then we'd have a pot of goals that we haven't currently got from wide areas. I think he strengthens the squad, and that's all you can ask for. You're absolutely right. We need another centre forward. We do. We've got young Chimitis there, and we've got Dom, who we just have to play by week almost, it feels. So we are missing that.
If we can get that centre forward, Dom can be used a bit more sparingly as a consequence, not necessarily per get, but within games, come off early and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Dan Juma can play down the middle as well. You got some rotational opportunities. Him and Dwight could swap over during games if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And it also says to Garner, who I thought over the weekend perhaps could have done better, that actually you're not comfortable because there's another guy here.
And Everton obviously are still.
So James can make sure he can't get in the team while he's getting fit.
Well, that's it. So. But the other thing as well is that obviously Everton is still chasing Willie Nunn, so that'll go right. And there's another one who
what about that one? It's happening. It's going to happen, isn't it?
Well,
What's your intuitive feel?
I think he'll sign for
Everton.
Everton.
I know Ped's very rightly strong on just let him go. It's gone too far. But I think that's into the realms of good window then.
I think I think Everton will get Nonso because I think he's very, very keen. And I think if you Leeds, and listen, how can we talk about a transfer like this without having a slightly biased view, of course. But if you Leeds,
his behaviour, you mean?
I'd want him out the door now.
Yeah,
You've come out and you've made your point very clear. We don't want to sell him. You've told the fans he's not for sale. But the lad's continuing to not train or to not play. My head's not right and all that. We had a little bit of this with Anthony Gordon, and the best thing for everybody was to go. And I think for Leeds, if you're Daniel Farke for Leeds, he's just gone into a new job. You don't need this
stability. Yeah,
you don't need a distraction.
I think you're right, but to use what I say, you join in with, right? If you're going to plan your dive your plan. On your planning of the dive, you say players don't want to be here, we move them out. We still want the money we want.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that means we put pressure on him. Say, mate, you can go, but we ain't selling you for less than X. Tell your agent, off you go.
But you're right.
And then you can also then have a social, emotional contract with the player that says, I'm giving you carte blanche. If you don't find anywhere, we expect you to be fully on it when you know.
Well,
meanwhile, keep on training.
I was going to say, I think personally what he should do is work hard for his employer. They employ him and they pay him his wages. He should be playing. He shouldn't be refusing to play for Leeds. Doesn't mean he has to say he's happy. He can go in every day and say, I want out. I'm here. I'll give you everything, but I want out. I want to join whoever it is. In this case, it's Everton. But I don't think he should disrespect the supporters, even if he doesn't like the owners or whoever. The fans pay good money and they want players to want to play for their football team. But that being said, if you Leeds, I think they should just cut the losses now and go, off you go, son. From an Everton perspective, listen, I'm not naive. It's like that person.
Do it to us next time.
That person who leaves the wife or the husband, and you think, what, they're not going to do the same to you down the line, you know what I mean? I imagine he comes here, if he does well, we'll be on the receiving end of that further down the line, because some players just do that. But from our perspective, if Everton did end up with Nonto as well as Jack Harrison, who we've signed and who we're talking about, and a striker, we will be getting into the realms of, we've actually done very well this window. The big caveat to that is we haven't got Nonto at the moment, and we haven't got a centre forward, which is the big hole.
That's the defining one.
But for me, Jack Harrison, I think he's almost for where we are. He fits, and that's more important sometimes. Is there more talented dribblers and higher ceilings? Yes, of course there is, but they come also with a big cost. This is a loan. But for where Everton are right now, if you're talking about what you can see without him actually doing it, and there's a lot of caveats to whether he will do it, it almost looks like a perfect fit for Sean Dyche and for what we need. He has to live up to that, and he has to perform the way he has, if not better than he did at Leeds, to do it. But I think it's a good sign.
And if he doesn't go native, and keeps the energy that Bielsa drilled into these players, then that'll help trigger player as well.
Well, that's it. You are a trigger player because you set everyone else. Everyone else starts going, well, to get in the team, I've got to run like him and be a bit of a loon. And we saw that from Dwight McNeil in the second half of the season. The first half of last season, he looked a shadow of it. He didn't look like a Premier League footballer.
Too true.
Second half of the season,
people thought he
became Everton's, one of Everton's, if not Everton's, him and Decore. Two key elements why Everton stayed up last season. Dwight McNeil, the goals. And he done that by leading, by working and running and working, and Wobie does the same. If you're getting another one in there, then all of a sudden that becomes a culture within that team. But they run up and down, they run up, they don't stop running. I've got to do it. And that, hopefully, that's what he can do.
Right. Here's the plan.
Go on. Before we finish, go on.
Harrison on Monday. Nonto on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Striker on Friday. Play on Sunday.
Striker, we wouldn't sign us. Under Sean Dyche's rules, our striker wouldn't have done the bleep test by Friday and play Sunday.
There's the ask. You've done one. Next one on Wednesday, the one after on Friday.
Win at Villa on Sunday.
Oh, well, of course, I'll be there.
Yeah. What we must obviously say on this is Jack Harrison is currently injured.
Yes,
the time scale they're looking at is after, it's a hip, it's a minor hip injury.
Yeah.
The time scale they're looking at is after the international break for him.
Like,
So, okay, and people will go, well, why have we got another injured player? But Everton are looking at it for the full season, aren't they? And he fits that. So, but like I said before, I think it's a good sign, and then hopefully, if he does what he's done for Leeds, that he'll add goals and he'll add energy and work rate, and that's what we need right now.
Consistent.
So, let us know what you think in the comment section. Are you happy with it? You're happy with the signing of Harrison? If you're not, tell us why. If you're a Leeds fan, what was he like for you? And do you think he'll do all right for Everton? Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, if you want to become a Toffee TV Premium member. The link will be in the description, but the QR code will be on the screen in 2 seconds. See you later.